Howdy, all. I'm Adam, the Renaissance Nerd. You guys know I love real Star Wars. If you've been coming here any length of time, you know it is my number one franchise. It has been that which is closest to my heart since I was a tiny little lad. It was the very first thing I fell in love with when it came to stories, and I have grown up with it, and it grew with me as well. When George stopped making movies, we got the expanded universe, which is real Star Wars. 28 years worth of great stories. And all came to a crushing end when Disney bought the rights and owned it. Now, here we are. This is the week that Elon Musk bought Twitter. And while it has been a glorious week, the meltdowns we have watched have been of epic proportions that even I think Orange Man could not have topped. But that doesn't mean things are all okay. All that means is that the battlegrounds have shifted. We now have a fortification, hopefully, as of the making of this video, from which we can push forward and continue to retake ground. Like I said, that doesn't change the actual current state of things in this moment here and now. Star Wars, among many other franchises, is still damaged by the infestation of the SJWs, the wokes, the identitarians, the intersectionalists, virtue signalers, leftist, fascist, Marxists. They've invaded it all, they've corrupted it all, and they are destroying it all. Many of the franchises have tumbled over the precipice into the abyss and are still falling, and Star Wars, again, is among them. Yeah, there are stans and fake fans who are still trying to pretend that Star Wars is great. The shills will they push it hard. But Disney Star Wars is utter trash. It's complete trash. And in about a month from now, give or take a couple of days, Obi-Wan Kenobi will arrive. Now, up until this point, Disney Star Wars, Disney Lucasfilm have done severe, mortal damage to the franchise and its characters. Luke Skywalker became Jay Skywalker. Han Solo became a deadbeat dad and walked into a lightsaber, and Leia became Mary Poppins and became a figurehead, useless character. And they've just bastardized it across the board with the franchise. Destruction of lore, destruction of how the Force works, creation of stories and periods, the High Republic that nobody asked for and nobody cares about. Video games have been few and far between in what has come out. While some people liked one or two of them, they have been abysmally boring and not inventive or creative whatsoever. There's been nothing new, nothing good. All of that taken into account, while damaging, it has danced around doing the ultimate damage. This has been stuff that's gone around the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy. But no, at last, with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, we will arrive at that moment where they will truly complete their journey to the dark side by altering original trilogy canon. That's what this is all about. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show is about the disrespect, the hate that everybody involved with Disney Star Wars has for George Lucas's vision. Some people may have been able to tolerate everything they've done before because you can always say, oh, well, the original trilogy remains intact. Well, no. This, if you accept it, if you allow it to be true, will damage the original trilogy, and that is the unforgivable sin. Deborah Chow. People are like, oh, she did such a good job in that one episode of The Mandalorian. She really gets it. No, she doesn't get it. And as Bounding into Comms is going to show us right now, she contradicts herself about respect for George Lucas and what he believed in, what the vision of Star Wars should have been. And all of this stems from the twisting of a single line. There it is right there. But, Vader, why don't you just take us there yourself, huh?
I I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Vader and Obi-Wan had one rematch, and that was on Death Star 1. That line is being used to create fan fiction, to distort the reality.
It's a trap!
What we're going to dump on is Deborah Chow for knowingly taking part in this. Because let's remember, Kathleen Kennedy 2 years ago said the scripts are done. And then they went back and rewrote it all. All to give us this fan fiction. But here's Deborah Chow's words. It was definitely something we were mindful of talking about the lines and actual lore. And for me, also taking on George's legacy, it's an honor to take these characters, to be able to tell a new story with them. All right, I'll finish. So I wanted to be very respectful to what exists and not change anything that George intended originally or anything like that. So right there you think, okay, maybe she is one of us. Maybe she's a team player. Maybe she's just doing this to try and make sure that perhaps they don't utterly destroy the original trilogy. Because them's is pretty words right there. But you see within those words, the poison. Take these characters and be able to tell a new story with them. Newsflash, Obi-Wan and Vader's stories, they're complete, they're done. Anything that these bad Marvel comics do with Vader, that's not real. Anything they've done with Obi-Wan, even during the Filoni Wars, that's mediocre at best, and some of it we tolerate, and some of it I throw out. Because there's a way to watch the Clone Wars where you could dodge around the complete obliteration of actual Star Wars canon. There's a way to do it. I know there is. Point being, there's your poison. The fact that they even want to consider telling new stories of characters whose fates we know, whose adventures are set in stone, shows they have no respect for anything that came before. But then, however, Chow would then state, obviously there is room for interpretation here. And telling the story they did have these 20 years. And obviously something happened in these 20 years. She can't even get the time right. Luke is 18 years old in A New Hope. He's not 20. He's 18. They've added 2 years to their mythical little timeline. They can't even get that right. Retards. I'm saying it. Retards. Stupid. Dumb. Ignorant. No, not ignorant. They don't care. Ignorance requires not knowing. The information is out there. They know and they don't care. They willfully do this because it's a spit in our eye. Something happened in these 20 years, and that there are some things from our series that where there's going to be a little bit more room for interpretation. There is no interpretation. George told his story. Whether you like it or not, he gave you the prequel trilogy. He gave you Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar. Done. Set. Piece. We've moved on. Obi-Wan is supposed to go to Tatooine and look over Luke for 18 years, not 20. You witless cow. And now this is Kathleen Kennedy crap and bullshit. But here's where we get to the rest of this. So there we have information now about the rematch. Chow provided some details in the about the show in the teaser, saying we couldn't tell the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi without addressing Anakin or Vader. No, you can, because that story isn't yours to tell because it already happens. It already happened before. It happens after. In the middle should just be about Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan coming to terms with his failures. Obi-Wan learning to move on, suffering from his PTSD. But then they don't know how to tell a story about PTSD. They only know how to tell stories of race, gender, sexuality, and ideology. Hence, diversity, inclusion, Inquisitor.
What an incredible smell you've discovered.
In the first fight, Vader allegedly badly injures Kenobi and even lights his arm on fire and burns it badly. However, despite these injuries, Kenobi is able to escape with the help of the Resistance and is taken to a Bacta tank, which they don't even know how to do in Disney Star Wars. Ever hear of the nose plugs? You don't just stick a respirator in the mouth, you freaking idiots. After waking up, he parts with the Resistance and decides to confront Inquisitor Reva, that's about diversity, inclusion, Inquisitor, and put an end to her machinations. Although I suspect she will have a turn of oh, whoops. I'm getting aggravated as we go on. She's gonna have maybe a turn of beliefs. It's a good chance that'll happen because you can't make a black lady evil, can you? However, before he can do that, Vader stands in his way. A second confrontation between the two allegedly happens on Mustafar. Wow, that's original. That's freaking original. Hey, let's have the rematch take place on Mustafar. These people do not understand there's a galaxy of worlds in the Star Wars universe. It's a galaxy full of star systems with thousands of planets.
As I explained to you earlier, I am quite convinced that 10,000 more systems will rally to our cause with your support, gentlemen.
Yet we're stuck on Tatooine all the time in Disney Star Wars, and now we're going back to Mustafar. Well, that's because Vader's castle is there, you fake fan. Don't you read the Vader comics? Vader comics are shit. They're not real. I don't care if Vader has his castle on Mustafar. Why is Obi-Wan going to Mustafar? Why are you going to Mustafar? What reason does protecting Luke or after rescuing Leia have to do with going to Mustafar? What, he's going to try and stop Vader? Oh my God. Second confrontation on Mustafar where Kenobi will actually receive support from his former master, Qui-Gon Jinn.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Making Star Wars explain, his is just Qui-Gon's voice acting as Mickey from the Rocky films. Come on, Obi-Wan, get up, because Qui-Gon loves ya. Is that it? Obi-Wan has his mojo back and can hear Qui-Gon now. This voice guides Kenobi, and for the first time in a long time, he knows he must win because they are going to win this fight against evil. How freaking lame. Obi-Wan doesn't know anything at this point. This is, oh my God. And by doing this, they're doing this all on purpose. This destroys George's vision, as Bounding Get the Comics will remind us here. To make matters worse, the idea that Kenobi leaves Tatooine flies in the face of Lucas's original vision for the character, as he detailed during the 1981 Revenge of the Jedi story conference, where he revealed Ben takes one and gives him to a couple out there, one being Luke, one of the twins, on Tatooine, and he gets in his little hideout in the hills, and he watches him grow. Ben can't raise Luke himself because he's a wanted man. Clearly, Lucas envisioned Kenobi staying on Tatooine and watching Luke grow from afar. Plain and simple. He already had the rematch in mind, Death Star 1. They had one battle, Mustafar. George had it all planned out, just couldn't tell that story at that time. But they're doing this to destroy the original trilogy because Disney wants to remake the original trilogy. Because if you watch everything, if you watch anything Disney Star Wars related around Darth Vader, if you watch this, if you watch Rogue One and Vader destroying rebel troops on the as they escape with the Death Star plans on Rogue One, then how can Vader do nothing at the beginning of A New Hope, and then how are Vader and Obi-Wan having such a tame duel on Death Star 1 if they did all this stuff prior? It's being done with a purpose. It's being done to have people who come upon A New Hope and say, wait a minute, this isn't as cool as what Kenobi did. Why isn't Vader acting like he did in Rogue One? I want a new version. Well, Disney will try and give you a new version because that's their end game. They want to rewrite. They want to remove everything that is George's vision. But we aren't going to let them. I and many others who have the stomach for it will watch Kenobi. We will review it. We will point out how terrible it is. And when you come by our reviews, you will understand as we do that there is only one real Star Wars. There's the original trilogy. There's the prequel trilogy. And there's the expanded universe. All right, I'm done. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, a like would be very much appreciated. If you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel where I am here to earn your trust and support using facts and logic, because facts and logic do not care about fifis. Hit the notification button, share my videos if you like what I'm preaching, and by all means, leave a comment. I love to hear from real people who, even if they disagree with me, are free to do so, because normal people can have a difference of opinion and still find common ground. We are not stans or SJWs who are cowards behind keyboards. Don't care what they think. We'll never care what they think. And if we ignore them, they will fade away and lose their fabricated power, especially because they don't have Twitter anymore. Thank you again for watching this video. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach out to me at therennerd@gmail.com. That email's for channel business only, so I check it on a daily basis. Also, you can find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can find me at Rumble and Odyssey, The Renaissance Nerd. Thank you again. See you next time.